Who do you have number one for MVP right now, Steve?
Well, that's still Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for me right now.
Okay.
I think he's played entirely too well, and the Thunder have played entirely too well. And so it's going to be one of those scenarios where, for me, someone's got to knock him off. It's not a discredit to the other two people I have on my list, and they are very real MVP candidates. But the command that he's had offensively, being able to get to the spots when he wants to, adding the step back three, the playmaking getting better as far as understanding where the doubles and the help is coming from, and just kind of being in control of this team that's played so well so far this season, and doing it in limited action for a lot of the time where, hey, he's not even playing in a lot of fourth quarters. I don't deny that at this point in time. So at this checkpoint, Shai would be my MVP, number one, numero uno. How about you?
Okay, that's fair. Well, this is kind of boring. I think we do have the same number one right now. I also still have Shai. And I think, one, it's very easy to make the Shai or the Jokic case. And so you've already kind of laid the groundwork, but I agree with you. Like, if you have Jokic one, there's no real issue there. And we're going to get into our Jokic cases on top of that. But with Shai, as of recording, 32.4 points per game. He's converting 60% of his twos. Shooting 44% from three on real volume. 88 from the line, getting to the line a bunch. I know everyone loves that portion of the piece. The playmaking has leveled up. He is processing the floor more quickly. When teams put two on the ball against Shai, he has diagnosed that more quickly. He has performed better against that particular coverage. That was something that you could slow him down with a little bit last year. Was still fine against it overall. He has gotten much better at that. And it's not just the isolation package for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, the pick and roll play has improved, as noted. You can use him off the ball. He'll be used as a screener. There really isn't much you can do with him. And now that you add in the step back three that we recently broke down with him, there just isn't much you can do with Shai. And the fact that he is doing this while also being a positive defender, not going to make an all defense case for him. That is too rich for my blood. But he's been a positive defender on what has been easily the best defense in basketball this year. A historically good one at that. While doing so on what is still on track to be the greatest regular season team of all time, at the very least.
Oh, I don't know. Someone disagrees with that.
He sure does, and he'll be playing later tonight against the New York Knicks. But even with that, that was loss number 2 for the season for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Still very much on pace to win 70+. Like, Shai has been at the center of one of the most dominant stretches of basketball that we have ever seen. And so while you can make a very strong case for Nikola Jokic, and again, we're about to talk about him shortly, since I would imagine he's number 2 on both of our lists, Shai still has the edge for me right now. I will say, before I toss the mic back to you, Steve, and we kind of flow into either more Shai talk or Jokic talk, it is kind of fun through the context of this award that both players are dealing with the I am carrying these loads while guys are missing. Like, that game against the Spurs was the first time all season the Thunder had their ideal starting 5 all year. And Nikola Jokic, we haven't seen Aaron Gordon in a while. We haven't seen Christian Brown in a while. We're going to talk about that Rockets-Nuggets game from last night because, good gracious, what a basketball game that was. Peyton Watson goes down in the first half, doesn't play in the second half or overtime. So no telling how long he's going to be out. And still, Shai has been a metronome on offense. And still, Nikola Jokic has been a triple-double machine. And both of these guys have been insanely efficient. So, like, it's been crazy watching these two work. I do still have Shai in the lead slightly right now.
Well, it's also interesting. I feel like for some, they look at Shai and they're like, well, the Thunder are a machine. Why are we handing this to him? And they look at Denver and they're like, well, Jokic is a machine, but they have more depth now. Jamal Murray's playing well. Aaron Gordon was playing well. So I wonder if they have gone through these stretches to lift their teams, but some may look at them and say, well, your team is just good. So what's the expectation? I'm curious as to how people feel about that.
Yeah, like, it's a different year. Like, they showed a graphic, again, during the Rockets-Nuggets games we're going to talk about a little bit later. But they showed a graphic, I think, heading into the third quarter of, like, the on-off stuff for Jokic over the past 5 or 6 years. And you just see the stark, well, they're, plus 10, plus 11, plus 13, et cetera, with Jokic on the floor. Then you look at that right column, and they are getting blasted in every year except this one. And then you look up this morning, spoil a little bit of what I have on the Jokic front, a plus 12.3 net rating with Nikola Jokic on the floor for the Denver Nuggets, still an elite mark. Shai at a plus 20.1, by the way. But Denver, slight positive with Jokic on the bench for the first time.
Yes.
And I don't know.
We did it. Girl, we did it. It's over. No more. Yeah!
So, like, it's one of those things where this is obviously a very good thing for the Denver Nuggets, and shout out to JV and Bruce Brown and everyone has stepped up with the second unit. Jamal Murray spearheading that hybrid second unit with Jokic on the bench. But through the context of the MVP race, to your point, I wonder how people are going to deal with that part. Because that is, it was valid, but there was also an easy button that you could press with Jokic. He's got these box score numbers, and the Nuggets are just 30 points better per 100 possessions with Jokic because the bench gets killed when he's off the floor. Mm-hmm. Removing that aspect of it, again, you can still easily make a Nikola Jokic first place case. You have to do it without that easy button, at least so far this year. And so, again, it's doable. I'm excited to hear people that are watching these games do that because you can still very much do that.
Oh, well, we agree. Jokic is second, right? Like he's just been an insane person this year as far as, I'm going to score the ball when I'd like to score the ball in any kind of way. Casual three, I got you. Give me the ball in the middle of the court. You don't know what's going to happen. It may be a drive. It might be a shot. I might go to a handoff. There's no telling. Any sort of help that you would like to display, I know where it's coming from, and the pass is going exactly where it needs to go. And, by the way, I'm just going to go HB dive, drive, hit you real quick, score. Doesn't matter. So it's like he's going to be one of those people that's health provided, going to be in these conversations until, I don't know, who knows? The end of time, maybe. I'm not sure. But he's too productive on the court. And then defensively, I feel like he's done his job this year. You need me at the level? I'm at the level. You need me, we're switching, I can do a quick switch. You need me at the baseline, I can rotate. Like, I do what I do, and that's it.
Actually, can I pause right there? Because that just sparked the thought/question from me.
What you got?
Because I think, and we've kind of talked about the Jokic defense throughout the history of this podcast. When it's been, hey, we need more effort from you. What is this? People are putting you in action. To, hey, Jokic is doing his job. To, hey, Jokic is actually just kind of good during this stretch or during this season, particularly the year Denver was top 10 in defense a couple years ago. And like even this year, I feel like we've seen all of the waves of that. Mm-hmm. To your point, I can get up to the level. We cool. I can play drop and navigate that well. A little bit more hand activity. We can do some of the cross matching. I want to put, I'll defend, quote unquote, a non-shooting wing so I can stay near the basket. We've also seen some of these stretches for the Nuggets where, we talked about them earlier this year. They were like a top 5, top 6 defense. And then they slid after like a week and a half, 2-week stretch. And Jokic was a part of that. I wonder broadly how Jokic's defense and how Shai's defense is going to factor into this conversation and how heavily. Because I said Shai's been a positive defender in my opinion. I do agree with you overall that Jokic has done his job. But like both of them have had these stretches where, again, Jokic can force turnovers because of the active hands. Like he is just automatically valuable because of the way that he ends possessions and how he can bring the ball up the floor from there to add that value. Shai, I think the one thing that has always been true for him, if you want to poke at him, post him up. They're going to stash him on a bigger guy or just a non-activity, initiator. We can post him up. He's been so much better at like swimming around and getting deflections when teams try to post him up. But like Shai can still fall asleep off the ball. Like he hasn't been a perfect defender either. So like I just wonder like how people are going to factor in that part for both of them.
Probably say that they're not good at defense and call it a day. Would be my guess.
Oh,
if I was being cynical. But I think the Thunder context doesn't necessarily allow you to see what Shai does defensively because they have all of the defenders. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if he pays a tax there or if it gets in consideration. I think with Jokic, there's a lot of, Denver's this defensively, he's this defensively. His mistakes are louder. So you can kind of see that a little bit more. And maybe people just may have that picture of him painted already. And so that's always going to be present as far as, I like my MVP to get it done on both ends type beat.
Yeah. It's funny you say that and then we can pivot. So like, I think some of the Shai mistakes on defense this year have probably annoyed me a little bit more than they have in years past because of how good this defense is. It's just like, dog, what excuse do you have? Like the obvious answer is that you are dropping an efficient 30 on the other end, of course. But like, I'm looking at some of the lineups that you're in. All you have to do is not ball watch. In fact, what are you ball watching for? Alex Caruso's getting the stop. Kaysen Wallace is navigating. You ain't even got to just make sure you don't lose yours. Like I get a chuckle of, twice a game with some of the off-ball stuff for Shea. But either way, again, even with that, I think he still grades out and has overall been a positive on that end. So I'm curious to see what that port's going to look like. But to the Jokic bit, 30 points a game, 69% on twos, 43% on threes on real volume, 84 from the line, leads the league in rebounds, leads the league in assists, over 2 stops per game. Mentioned a little bit earlier, plus 12.3 on-court net rating for Nikola Jokic. The Denver Nuggets are just blitzing teams with him on the floor, as they always do. Shea first in EPM, if you care about that. Jokic second in EPM, if you care about that. I think whatever order you put them in, I think this is the very clear top 2 right now.
That's fair.
So I've had a lot of fun watching.
Now, I'm going to give you my number 3.
Okay.
It was my preseason pick. Luka Doncic is number 3 for me. And it's a close to 34, 8, and 8. Like, just lead the league in scoring. I'm also 3rd in assists, and it doesn't matter what defense you throw at me. I'm just going to throw it over the top rope. I'm going to put 2 on the ball. That's an assist. You want to go drop? That's fine. I'll ISO one-on-one fade away, just hit you with whatever you want. Nekias, Luka leads the NBA in first quarter scoring, averaging 12.8 points a game.
That tracks.
Luka Doncic's first quarter scoring would be like the 90th best scorer in the NBA right now. It's not how that's really supposed to work. And so watching him just operate almost unbothered almost every time he's been out there has been fun to watch, because it's just like, hey, I truly, it does not matter what you do. I am going to do what I want to do, get to my spots, make the shots I want to, make the plays, and we're going to deal with it. So I think he's been insane this year.
No, I think that's fair. And I think I gave the games played thing at the top. If not that, or if Luka had literally played one more game, he's just number 3, and we're just done with this conversation. Because I agree with everything that you just said. The scoring has popped. I talked a little bit earlier this year about what he's been doing inside the arc and what he's been doing for floater range in particular. Like, he started the year making 70% of those. Like, it wasn't sustainable. It hasn't been sustainable, but he's still been elite in that area. And like, the pacing always stands out with Luka Doncic. You cannot speed him up. Likely because he's bigger and stronger than you. But even if you do put a big wing on him, you can't really knock him off his pace. He's going to get to where he wants to get to. He is reading the lower portion of your defense the whole time. If you help, there's a kick, there's a lob, and he may fake either one of those and then just get into a contested shot that you feel good about defensively and then immediately feel bad because the ball went into the basket anyway. And I think through the broader context of this Lakers season, 1, he's just been their best player. But 2, like, the Lakers, as of recording, they're 3rd in the West right now, Steve. Now, virtual tie with San Antonio. But like, they're 3rd in the West, and considering how tough the conference is, and considering what the overall defensive personnel for this Lakers group is, and considering some of the injuries and things that they've dealt with this year, the Lakers probably shouldn't be a top 3 team in the West right now. Like, they should be like 5th or 6th. Wow. Maybe 7th, considering how like tight things have been. But like, that's kind of what I would project, because again, less about like the Lakers are quietly bad or anything like that. That's not the case I'm making. But just the West is tough. And if you deal with that while the West is tough, you're just naturally lower in the standings because of the competition. The fact that they're 3 and they're a game behind Denver right now speaks to how good Luka has been within this context. And so again, like, he would just be my easy number 3 had he qualified, but he did not, which then opens up the Pandora's box for me. Okay. Because I was like, ooh, well, if Luka doesn't qualify with 19 games, and Giannis doesn't qualify with 17 games, and Wemby just got back, and he's on the minutes restriction right now anyway, did not matter against the Thunder, good God. But who do I have? And so here are some of the names that I was considering for this 3rd spot, Steve. Okay. We'll start out West since we're here. So as you know, we've mostly had this conversation offline, but Alperen Şengün versus Kevin Durant for like the MVP rep in Houston has been an interesting one for me. I have largely been on the Şengün side because of, more growth defensively, but offensively, use him as a hub, use him as a post scorer. He's just been incredibly good. The box score stats are there, et cetera. So I was thinking about him and Kevin Durant. One of the things that has swung in the KD direction, since we've more like recently talked about this, like, it was all of that Şengün stuff, and then also, if you look at their minutes together, like, they're blasting teams. But when you look at like Şengün on without KD, KD on without Şengün, for most of the year, the Şengün lineups have just been blitzing teams, and they are still been very good. over this recent stretch of games, like the KD lineups are performing better now. So it's like, okay, I can still make the Şengün case. I can't use that nugget to make the case, at least not right now. I still feel better about Şengün overall, but like that has gotten closer for me since the last time we talked about it. So consider KD and Şengün.
Kevin Durant is also on my list. He's been very important for Houston with the shot making. Don't sleep on the weak side defense. He's been really important. Who else was on the list, Nekias?
Okay, so those two in the West. You've brought him up, and we've both kind of talked about Minnesota this year, and just trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. Anthony Edwards has just been insane. Just a lot of quiet growth in his game in terms of how quickly he's processing things, what he's doing inside the arc. There was the preseason stories about him working on the post game and just in general getting more comfortable with mid-range shots. But he's just been incredibly good. 29 points a game, 5 boards, 4 assists, nearly 64 true shooting for Anthony Edwards, which is easily a career high for him. And it's not like the offense for Minnesota has been very good overall. It's not like it's been perfect context for Anthony Edwards offensively this year.
Okay.
He's just quietly leveling up, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are a top 6 team in the West right now. So thought about Anthony Edwards.
Also in the conversation. Continue.
There we go. You go out east, Steve.
About to say.
You want to chuckle?
Yes.
So one, Donovan Mitchell has just been nuts for this Cleveland group that is still trying to find itself. And like listening to the post-game interview, I think after the Charlotte game, where he did not have his best outing. And he was like, yeah, this is my fault. If I play better, we win. Like, I know my teammates aren't going to say that. Like, I can't afford to have a bad game. Like, I know my teammates won't say that, but I'll say that. And I'm just like, one, like, I appreciate the accountability, but I've always kind of felt weird when players do that. It's just like, no, we have eyes. Like, yes, you could have played better, but like.
That's leadership, though, Nekias.
It is. It is. Like, again, I understand why you do it and why it works. And like, I ultimately commend them for it. But like, I also just like, I watched that full game. Like, no, you didn't make the shots that you do, but I'm also looking at the attention that you get. And I'm looking at some of these breakdowns from others. This is going to be a Cavs segment. Like, this is just not your fault. But Donovan Mitchell, career high, nearly 31 points per game. He's also converting 60% of his twos, Steve, which, when's the last time we had 2 high volume scoring guards convert 60% of their twos? Because like Shea and Donovan Mitchell are just doing that right now. And that should not happen. It shouldn't be 1. The fact that it's 2 is kind of nuts. But 31, 5, and 6 for Donovan Mitchell right now. If you care about the on-off stuff, a plus 7.6 net rating with him on the floor, which is eerily similar to the next guy that I'm going to talk about. A minus 6.3 with him off the floor. So a near 14-point swing, one of the bigger swings that we have in the Eastern Conference. Among the guys that have played at least 20 games to this point of the season, he's 4th in EPM if you care about that. And again, I mentioned Shea's 1, Jokic is 2nd right now. Do you know who's 3rd on that listing?
I do not. Who?
It's Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh my.
Would not have guessed that one, would you?
No.
It's a very funny bit. But either way, thought about Donovan Mitchell. Cade Cunningham, who is leading the best team in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yeah.
Averaging 27, 6, and 9. Plus 8 with him on the floor. So handily winning those minutes. Like, the efficiency stuff with Cade is always going to, like, ding him in conversations like this because you have to split hairs with so many great players. So, like, he is technically below league average efficiency. But then you think about what his context is.
I'm about to say, get the efficiency out of here, buddy. He's operating a box. I'm getting whatever spot I want to. I'm playing pick and roll Jalen Durant. Everyone's focused on me. I'm locked in. Efficiency should not be the standard. It should be saluted. It's not hard to be. I mean, it's not easy to be efficient.
It's not.
Swear out my face, man.
Not get the word out of your face, but it's like, again, like the context makes that tougher for Cade. Now, I will say, hasn't been the best 3-point shooting season for Cade. Taking a lot more pull-ups, which I generally enjoy, so I think it's a net positive. But again, we are splitting hairs with a bunch of great players. It's like, ooh, it's like 32, 30%. The finishing for Cade has been kind of odd. Like, that's probably the bigger, like, actual thing that matters for me when it comes to the Cade Cunningham experience this year. The foul drawing is up, so that's helpful. But like, there are just like 2 or 3 a game where it's like, ooh, didn't really like the lift on this finish. Didn't really like which hand he used on this finish. So we're going to see if that perks up, gets more consistent, etc. But Cade Cunningham's been great this year. And he is the biggest reason why Detroit is at the top of the Eastern Conference standings. So thought about him naturally.
Okay.
How do we feel about Tyrese Maxey?
That's
in this conversation?
Not the Eastern Conference guard I thought you were going to go to. I think Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry are just kind of in a section of the MVP conversation where it's like, I get it, but also.
Mm-hmm. I got you. And don't worry, I didn't forget about that guard. I just want to bring his name up, Maxi's name up first. But 13-10 in the games that Maxi's played in so far. 31.5 points, 52% on twos, 39% on threes, 88 from the line. He's getting to the line more. Career high in assists for him. The defense has really perked up from last year, Steve. But I think it's kind of the quieter bit of the Maxi season. Still isn't perfect. He is a small guard at the end of the day. But like the compete level for him has been really impressive to me, especially when you factor in we haven't had Embiid, and then it's been Embiid ramp up. We haven't had Paul George, then it's Paul George ramp up. We had VJ Edgecombe, did he miss some time? And Tyrese Maxey's doing this while playing 40 minutes a night. And the Sixers are still in a playoff spot right now. So like I felt like his name at least deserved to be said in this conversation.
No, I get it. I think the tricky part is like him and Donovan need wins on their side, especially with two other guards in that conference doing insane things. You start to split hairs between them very quickly, and they're all kind of tasked with, hey, we got to do a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. So it gets tricky. Go ahead.
No, understood. And then the last guy that I like seriously considered for this, Jalen Brunson, who has been, I was to say like the last name I want to mention in this conversation, not the last name I thought about, because ultimately I think I just land with Brunson at 3 right now.
Okay.
Jalen Brunson has been so good for this Knicks group. And in the midst of the changes offensively, more touches, less touch time for him. He ceded more control in that aspect. But when he gets it, he just kills you, Steve. Quietly a career high in scoring for Jalen Brunson right now. 55% on twos, which should not happen for a guy his size. 38% on threes, 84 from the line. It's not a career high in assists, but this is the best that I felt about Jalen Brunson's playmaking in his career. Like I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the lob passing with Jalen Brunson in particular. But like he is just doing such a better job of reading and navigating the different coverages that defenses throw at him. And for him to really be leading this charge for the Knicks as they get closer to overtaking Detroit for that top spot. It was between, like, once I actually got into the nitty gritty of this, it was between Brunson, Cade, and Mitchell for like that final spot.
Okay.
I did land on Brunson though.
Okay.
Because like he has just meant so much. The fact that he can still be himself while also ceding a little bit of control in this offense to make the whole thing work. Like that has spoke to me so far this year. Nearly plus 12 with him on the floor as well. So that's close to like the Jokic number in Denver if you want to make a direct comparison there. But like I kind of land with Brunson 3.
Understood. Now think about how disgusting this is going to be as games played rolls in, but also Wemby crosses the other threshold. So I imagine he will be in the top 5. And now you're talking about all these names for a single spot. And that gets real tricky. And also that sound you hear is a Boston Celtics fan yelling you for not saying Jaylen Brown.
No, see, and that's the thing. Like Jaylen Brown was another guy that I considered. Jalen Johnson is a guy I really wanted to have in this conversation. I couldn't quite get there.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
but this is kind of what I'm saying. Like, you know, Steve made the joke at the top. Like, yeah, I do generally have like a super long list of, hey, here's a guy. Like, I think the Jalen Brown shout is a fair one. Like, I want to get Jalen Johnson into this. Toronto, after the skid, they are still the 3 seed right now. Would have loved to have made a case for a Raptor. Could not have done it. Not in good faith. I can say Brandon Ingram has been very good. Scotty Barnes, I think, has been their best player this year. But like, can I genuinely argue top 3 MVP case? Like, no, I can't do that. You know what I mean? So like, that's where I'm just like, great player, great season, can't get you there. But yeah, there are just a lot of good things happening across the league. But that's where I landed.
Yeah, somehow you managed to sneak another Toronto Raptor reference into another podcast, which tells me very quickly that we need to take a break and come back for the Rookie of the Year conversation and Western Conference talk.
And we are back with this episode of the Dunker Spot. And now it's time to check in with the Rookie of the Year race because, Steve, this is probably more heavily contested at the top than people anticipated heading into the year. I think we both did our preseason predictions elsewhere. Both had Cooper Flagg as the Rookie of the Year. It was an interesting start for Cooper Flagg. Some other rookies have took off, honestly, from the beginning of the year. Just been very good. It's been a very good class overall. But we are now less than 24 hours removed from Cooper Flagg becoming the youngest player to ever have 40 plus in a game. Like, it's 42 as an 18-year-old is just kind of nonsensical, complimentary Cooper Flag. But yeah, it just felt like, okay, let's actually take stock of this race too, since Cooper Flag's just done that. And some of these other rookies have just continued to play incredibly well this year. So, Steve, I'll start with you. As of today, as you mentioned, this is a checkpoint. This does not mean this is who we have at the end of the year. But as of today, who is your rookie of the year? We'll go top 3 here as well, but who's your number 1 right now?
I'm going to flip it on you. I'm going to reverse course. I'm going to build some drama. I'm going to tease this up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go backwards.
Oh, okay. Who's your number 3?
Because I think the fascinating part about this Rookie of the Year race and doing a checkpoint is just different feeling at different time, different opportunities for guys, different game plans, and teams kind of adjusting to who they are. And now the rookies have to make an adjustment as well. So you've seen different guys peak at different times, play well, have high moments. I think I feel pretty good about the 5 I have.
Okay.
As far as just my top 5. And it gets tricky though, right?
Okay.
So it's some combination of Concanipple, Cooper Flag, and then BJ Edgecombe I still salute. The Jeremiah Fierce portion gets really interesting.
Okay.
But you have what Derek Clean has done. You got what Dylan Harper's done. You've got a lot of different pieces as far as that goes. So I felt good about the 5. It feels like for me, it's Con, Flag, Edgecombe, Dylan Harper, and a Pelican. Don't ask me which one right now. For all rookie first team. You're not getting 2 New Orleans. I do apologize. That's not happening.
Oh, okay.
So if I had to go with a number 3 right now, I would still stick with VJ Edgecombe. And I know he had the incredible start and then things tailed off. I think his context and his production within that and the importance of what they've needed from him matters to me. And so the fact that they need him to get downhill, they need him to make shots. He has to do it on a nightly basis. He's climbed up scouting reports and teams have adjusted and said, hey, not you. And he's trying to figure out, work through that. That means something to me. So VJ stays at 3 for me. Who is your number 3?
Okay, I think that's fair. What I actually have a quick question for you, but I'll get there after I reveal my number 3. I also have VJ Edgecombe number 3 right now, and I will quickly note, like rookie, I think the rookie stuff just doesn't get hit with the games play stuff the way that the other awards do, so it makes it easier to just kind of just free flow and talk about those guys. But VJ Edgecombe also number 3 for me as of recording. 15.2 points per game, 44% on 2s, 39% on 3s, 77 from the line, 5.6 rebounds, nearly 2 offensive rebounds a game. Steve, like that portion of his game, just that general activity, I've always enjoyed with him. 4 assists, 1.3 steals, half a block a game. And to your point about him mattering, one, the minute workload for VJ Edgecombe has just been kind of ridiculous. Like him and Tyrese Maxey have had to do so much for this Sixers group. And like we very rarely, and I very rarely use like on-offs for rookies because you're supposed to lose minutes with rookies. They're literally rookies. You're not supposed to be relied on, etc. A plus 5.3 with VJ Edgecombe on the floor for Philadelphia this year. A minus 6.1 with him off. Now again, high minute count, so lower sample with him off the floor. That makes sense. I will quickly note, in 155 minutes that VJ Edgecombe has played with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid on the bench, the Sixers are only minus 8 total. It's like a -1 net rating. So like even when you remove those 2 guys, the Sixers have stayed afloat. VJ Edgecombe, at least in those minutes, gonna drive a bunch, still gonna shoot a bunch. So like he's been a big part of them staying afloat during those minutes. There's some 3-point variance within that if you want to get into that. The Sixers shooting nearly 41% from 3 in those minutes. Opponents are shooting like 36%, so there's a split there. But like, to your point, Steve, VJ has just been important to the Sixers group on both ends of the floor, and even just within a vacuum. Like when he's gotten to the drives, like one of the things that you highlighted in your most recent rookie rankings a couple of weeks ago was that the drives dip for VJ from October to November. So like you want to see him get back to that. But in general, he is someone that can get downhill. He's still getting more comfortable navigating inside the arc. How deep am I driving? The footwork is generally good when he's getting into different shot types there, but you want to see quicker decision-making there. The shooting is pop. What he's been asked to do defensively pretty much all year long. It's kind of unbecoming as a rookie, complimentary, but he's taken on those tough assignments, especially as the Sixers have had guys in and out of the lineup. So I am cool with VJ Edgecombe being 3. So to my question, before we get to number 2.
Yes.
So where is Cedric Coward for you right now? So I think in terms of rookie context, like it's been a big shift for him.
So this is where Cedric Coward has been my 3 or in my top 3 for the majority of the season, right? And this is less, hey, Cedric Coward is bad, and more everyone else is coming than anything else. And so I think what Cedric Coward has done has been really good for the Grizzlies, and I think he's really important for them. And now it's like, okay, if the shot is not falling, where are the drives at? Is the defense going to hit a certain level? What's the consistency level at? And I don't necessarily ding him for it. It puts him like at like 6-ish right now.
Okay.
On a night-to-night basis.
Okay. I just figured I'd get your thoughts because like he entered the starting lineup. Something that's popped for me and something that you also mentioned in your rookie rankings. Check that out on Yahoo Sports still. A lot of good nuggets in there. The three-point shooting has fallen off a cliff. And like he was never going to shoot 48% from three on real volume. Like that's just a high bar for literally anyone not named Stephen Curry to clear. But we have had that dip, and to that point, like it does bring me back to that first rookie report to where he's been very good against tilted defenses, and some of the live dribble passing off of those closeout attacks have been very good. But it's like, how many of those are you getting? Now that you are just facing starters all the time, how many wins can you just get in a vacuum versus needing some sort of tilting? And with the way that Memphis plays generally, like you're not always going to have that context readily available for you. And so, like, to your point, like, it's less he's just bad. It's more like, okay, this is different. He is adjusting. Like, I think that's okay.
And I will say through that stretch, the passing has popped. And so the drives, he's got the length. He can get in the paint. He can make the plays late. I like the reads. It gets interesting because it's like, okay, Cedric Coward versus what Dylan Harper is doing is a conversation that you end up having. And then there's Pelicans that exist. And it's like, okay, which two of you are 4 and 5? And that will change throughout the season and the day. But today, as I speak into a microphone, 6.
That's what he's doing. Okay, that's fine. Like the Dylan Harper of it all is where it got interesting for me because I think in a vacuum, I feel like Dylan Harper has been like the third, maybe even second best rookie just when he's been on the floor. But he's just missed so much time. That's where I'm like, I can't. There is no games played minimum for this, but it's also just like in a rookie class that has been this good and so many different players have popped. That is a very easy hair split to make. To where, okay, you played 15 games, and so many of these guys are at 20. Like, that's just kind of tough. But I've really enjoyed the Dylan Harper drives. We talk about, like, honorable mentions and stuff. He's so advanced inside the yard.
Plays with poise and composure. It's tough to deal with him. Like, you can't ignore how good and important he is for San Antonio on a nightly basis. And now this is the part where we no longer agree on these. And this is how I wanted to frame it this way, because we have the same names for the top 2. I believe we have a different order for the top 2. And so it becomes Colin Knuppel and his consistent production against what Cooper Flagg has been putting together over the last month or so. And how do you balance that out? Because I think that gets interesting, because Colin has been steady as a rocket all year long for the Hornets, consistent production, and the shot speaks for itself. You know, he's done a lot of things with the three-point shot. It's tough to deal with. But the versatility that he's displayed over the course of the season is where it gets fun. Offensively, you can use him in different ways. And, like, he started to leverage that shot making into more drives. And that's where it got interesting with dribble handoffs and pick and roll. And, you know, kind of sell the shot and get in the paint. And, you know, he gets you off balance. He hits you first. He turns the corner. He's got good footwork. He's got good control. And it makes it hard because, you know, they can have him off screens. He's still being used as a screener. And now, okay, I'm going to set things up to slip, get into space, and now I can attack that way. He's got the floor vision as teams are like, hey, you're popping, let's take that away. Well, I can make a pass out of that. And he's just really good at being off ball and creating space and creating separation and coming off screens tight and getting his angles. Next step for me is probably playmaking, but he's just been really, really good this year. So it's hard to deny him. I had him in my last rookie rankings at 1. Today I have him at 2.
Ooh, there you go. And there's the reveal. And so Cooper Flagg has now overtaken the top spot for you in the Rookie of the Year race.
Yeah, man. Look, man, I talked about him last week. I'll talk about him again. He is just comfortable offensively in a way that just opens a ton up with his usage on ball, off ball, his ability to make plays late in games, his patience, and defenses have to respect it. And it's just like, it continues to grow, I think, is where I'm at. And it's like, this is a separate conversation, but like Cooper Flagg was in a box to start this season, right? In a box. Defenses didn't want to cooperate with anything. Talk about the Dallas context, but it was very clear hesitancy uncertain of where my shot is, uncertain of where the pass is, want to do this, want to swing it. He's decisive these days. He is countering whatever the defense does. If you would like to cut me off, I'm going to hit you. If there's space, I'm getting to my shot that I want. And now I can be used in pick and roll. I can be used in handoffs. I can do a lot more things. I can post up. I can hit this little hook shot. Like, there's a command that goes with that just feels a little different to me. And he's just been consistent with that over the last month or so. I'm putting my head down. I'm getting in the paint, and we're going to work.
No, I think that is more than fair. And as you kind of teased, like, we do have different orders with this. I think Cooper Flagg is certainly coming for that top spot. And I think when you zoom out, like, if you just ask me, who do you think is the best player in this rookie class? Like, my answer was Cooper Flagg heading into the year. My answer is still Cooper Flagg. I think he is the best player. I think he's going to have the best career of this group. But if the answer is who has had the best rookie season to this point of the year, I do still lean towards Con Knipple. Like, you've already hit on the offensive versatility for him. And one of the things that popped early for me is like, oh, he's taking people with him on some of these drives. He can win some of these clean, but even when he doesn't, like, there's a physicality that he has. You get on this hip, you're not pushing him off 2 feet and making it a tougher finish at the rim for him. Like, he can still get to his spots. It's not necessarily the Cooper Flagg bit, because Cooper Flagg is just bigger than him. But, like, he can get to his spots, and he has these scoops, these far out extension layups that he can get to as well. Some of these, like, short shoulder bump turnaround jumpers from like 8 or 9 feet, like, he sprinkled in a couple of those in that Cleveland game, where I'm just like, hey man, this is fun. And so, like, as you talk about the clutch scoring for Cooper Flagg, and it's valid, like, what I do enjoy about both of these guys is that they can attack matchups, and both of them can attack matchups in different ways. Like, you can just go inverted pick and roll with Cooper Flagg if you want to. And here you go to work against a guy that you don't respect. Hey, here's a mid-post touch where you're going to set you an off-ball screen, get you a touch. Here's this matchup that you like. With Con Knipple, yeah, we can also do some of the mismatch hunting. Ask Darius Garland how he felt towards the end of that game. But we can do that. Hey, Con, we're going to use you as a screener, something that you in particular have highlighted, Steve. We can just slow play this and get you a matchup. Or here's the go screen, because you get out of there so quickly and your footwork is so good, you now just have a shot immediately, or you can get right into those drives, which parlays into these finishes or to these short jumpers. And so, like, the fact that both of them are growing as, like, these late game options, when the appeal of them should be, we can do a little bit of everything. Like, it's more shooting for Con, and I think it's just more like screening, cutting, et cetera, for Cooper. But, like, the fact that there's this offensive versatility for both of them, it really excites me, thinking about, like, their futures. But with Con, like, you kind of said it though, like, he has just kind of been, he's been the most consistent guy through this rookie class at the very least. And this is with more driving, a little bit more playmaking, especially since we are now in another extended stretch without LaMelo Ball at this point. And so, like, Con has just kind of become the face of this offense.
Oh,
and he is handling it well. And so, like, I was quickly doing some filtering, Steve, you brought this up. So since Thanksgiving, right, both players have played about 8 games since then. Cooper Flagg in his last 8, 24.1 points per game. That's first among the rookie class. 6 boards, 4.5 assists, 1.3 steals, 0.9 blocks. Mavericks about a plus 0.5 in terms of their plus minus overall. Con Knipple, averaging 20 points per game during this stretch. 4.6 rebounds, 4.9 assists, 0.8 steals, not going to get the block numbers. It's a plus 1.1. It's like, even during this run, like, Con has still just been, like, he's leveling up and he's still been good through this.
You said the last 8, right?
Yeah.
If I can do, like, counting very quickly live, Cooper Flagg during that stretch has made a grand total of 4 threes. He's shooting like this, while the 3 is just like, I'll take it, but also no. Like, I'm getting buckets.
Yeah. And to your point, Steve, one of the things that I had in my notes, you zoom out overall this year with Cooper Flagg, 1.08 points per possession on any trip featuring a drive. That is 7th among 20 players with at least 300. And I meant to mention this in the MVP bit, but Shea has officially taken the lead over Julius Randle on that front in terms of the points per possession number. So Shea 1 is Randle 2. It's Donovan Mitchell 3. So if you want to add to the, he could be 3 in the MVP running with, again, Luka out, Steph out, Giannis out, et cetera. There's another feather in the cap for Donovan Mitchell as well. But yeah, Cooper Flagg's just there. And again, that's the overall season number. And so when you think about what the first 2-3 weeks of the year was for Cooper Flagg, the fact that that drive number is where it's at speaks to what he's been doing as of late. I could quickly get the last 8 for that just to have that handy. But yeah, he was the head down. He's been fun. And like watching the Utah game while we're on Cooper Flag. Hey, man. It really highlighted the drive bit. I think 23 drives in that game for Cooper Flag. It was the second time all season that he logged at least 20 in a game. But the second most in a game for him this season. 1.09 points per possession on the trip featuring a flag drive during that game against Utah. And just the pacing of these, Steve, it never felt like he sped up on any of them. At least not, he didn't hit full speed. I'm just going to slow play this, depending on the matchup I had, which, similar to Khan and the Darius Garland bit, poor Keontae George in that basketball game, who has been really freaking good. Just ask you a free throw about him if he's having the most under-the-radar great season in the league this year. He's been very good. Cooper Flag found him quite a few times and just said, let's dance. And the size difference just kind of won out multiple times in that basketball game. But it's been a phenomenal year by Cooper Flag. I think he is the best. I think he is the best player in this rookie class. It would not surprise me if Steve asked me this question in 2 or 3 weeks and I have Cooper Flag number 1. But like right now, I do still just have Khan. 19, 5, and 4. Shooting the leather off the ball on ridiculous volume, 41% on threes, nearly 9 attempts a game. It's just kind of him right now. Leads rookies in EPM if you care about that part. But like, it's still Khan Knueppel for me right now.
Okay, understood. So MVP wrapped, Rookie of the Year wrapped. Would you like to talk about the Western Conference, Nekias, Duncan?
Yeah, let's talk about the West. Because, one, the West is just really good, and we know this. But coming off of what that Nuggets-Rockets game was on Monday night, overtime thriller, in which the Nuggets eked this out by 3 points, like 128-125 was your final. Neither team was happy with the officiating by the end of that one. That's going to be my lone comment on that.
The end of that one, you can go watch the end of the first half and see redacted coach go redacted.
Not pleased. But watching that game, I was just giddy as a basketball fan because like, this is what it's supposed to be about. Nikola Jokic triple-double, Alperen Sengun triple-double, Jamal Murray haymakers, Kevin Durant haymakers. You get Josh Okogie knocking down timely shots. You get Spencer Jones knocking down timely shots. You got just a little bit of everything from everyone. Timely bench scoring, stars showing up, big stops, beautifully run offensive sets, the poke at things. Like, it's just a real playoff feel for that battle. And so I wanted to talk about that game for one, but more broadly, it did kind of spark the thought, who is the second best team in the West right now? Like the standings say one thing, but like, you can make a case for several teams. Like, I kind of wanted to ground the conversation around Denver and Houston since they just played each other. But, like, that's kind of where my mind went watching that game. But what stood out to you about that game?
I mean, for me, it was just the battle between Denver and their offense and their ball movement and their flow, and Houston and their defense and their size and their length and their ability to control tempo. And then as the game wore on, both teams just trying to poke at each other and figure out different ways. Like Denver just trying to find different ways to have versatility defensively. Hey, let's mix in some zone. Hey, let's throw some double teams at Sengun and KD. Let's rotate around it. Let's take away driving lanes. Hey, Amin Thompson, not only do you have space and a gap, whenever you try and boogie, there will also be another person just late helping, just so you have to think about that. Take that off the table for you real quick. You know, Houston saying, Jamal Murray, here's the space. And Jamal Murray saying, absolutely, I'll take the space and I will drive and I will continue to do that and mix in some threes. Like, just back and forth battle to me. I think that's where the fun part is. So to kind of go back to your question, who's the second best team in the East? There's no way for us to know. And this is like, the Western Conference is very tough. Like, I almost wish you didn't have to put numbers after number one, but that's just the way it is. It's seeding. And so these matchups, you just get a taste, a slice of each team and their strengths against certain teams and their weaknesses against others. And like, that's the back and forth. I thought a funny bit in the Denver-Houston matchup was Houston be like, hey, here's our double big lineup. And Denver coming out of a timeout and be like, well, here's ours. And Houston being like, actually, we're playing small now. So good luck with that. And then also, I think there was a possession with Jonas and Jokic out there together where JV was posting up and Jokic was on the perimeter and Jokic flashed into the spot that Jonas Valanciunas was in and then was like, oops, my bad. And then Valanciunas got the ball and was like, oh, you're Jabari Smith. I'm going to post you up and go to work. And that made me chuckle in the first half. But I just think, like, it's fun to watch these teams And I understand it's easy to kind of like overreact to some of these big matchups, right?
Mhm.
And you go like, well, we can't beat it. No, the whole point of this is understanding, okay, how do we match up against them? And what do we need to continue to work on? And
Mhm.
so if you're Houston, I think probably the most encouraging thing was being able to find a way in that third quarter to respond after the end of that first half and get Denver to a position where they feel like, oh, we have to play zone.
Mhm.
And I think that's where, you know, Houston, the spacing can feel weird. The timing can feel weird, but then it's, oh, that's right. That's Kevin Durant with the ball in the middle of the floor going to work. Oh, that's Alperen Şengün casually making shots and driving whenever he likes. So they can control tempo in a different way and keep pressure on you. And then for Denver on the other end, they're like, oh, cool. Houston, you guys are switching. Awesome. We're just going to counter that with different actions. Hey, Jamal Murray, how many flares to an empty side would you like to deal with? But, you know, but Peyton Watson was in. You know, hey, we're just going to screen, and we know you're switching. We're going to slip out, and we're going to get the buckets we want. So this is where it just kind of becomes fun, because as that game wore on, they kept playing very well. It got nonsensical there in that fourth quarter, where it was just shot after shot after shot.
Oh my God.
No one wanted to back down. But it was just, it's just fun to see these teams kind of rise to the occasion and challenge each other in that way.
It was a good bit. Like, to your point about the late shot making, because I want to hit on a lot of things that you talked about there. I was threading that game as it was happening. And, like, you know, I try to sprinkle in, like, this is what I'm seeing, this is what they're trying to do, yada, yada, yada. It gets to that stretch of the game, and, like, I called Nikola Bartholomew Jokic at some point. And I'm just like, I don't know why I did that. And then it was just a bunch of random letters because Jokic was in his shot-making bag. And then we eventually get to Alperen Şengün. And then we get the Spencer Jones. It just, Reed Shepherd hit a big three. Spencer Jones hit a big three. I was like, what is happening in this basketball game? I just stopped analyzing at that point. Like, you know what? This is just fun. This is, quote-unquote, this is hashtag real hoop. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Except just enjoy it and soak again. But, like, to your point, the size battle was an interesting one. I'm glad you brought up the double big thing, because one, it was funny that Houston was like, actually, nah, we're gonna go double big when you're not going double big, and then when you do, then we're gonna do this. But then we did get these stretches where Denver's like, all right, well, we'll just rock with double big then. And here's Nikola Jokic guarding Amen Thompson, and I'm just like, hey, that's a funny one. Again, we talked about the MVP bit. Like, Denver has sprinkled in Jokic, you defend, non-spacing wing. Like, this is like a last year thing. This is a year before last thing, honestly, but they'll do that. And, like, watching Amen Thompson try to navigate that, it put the spotlight right back on him for me. And I think, well, the last episode of the pod, I asked you, like, how have you felt about the Amen Thompson season? And, like, what he's doing inside the arc and how he's navigating that. And you got to see, like, the high end and the low end of the Amen Thompson experience. Because on one hand, even outside of just the Jokic just matching up with a bit, on one hand, you have whatever he did during that, like, 2 or 3 possession sequence against Cam Johnson, where he just could not figure out what Amen Thompson was doing. He hits the man with, we're gonna lull you to sleep, Here's a spin move layup. Oh my goodness, Cam Johnson, where are you going? And then a little bit later, I'm gonna lull you on the left wing, gonna lull you. Here's the quickest Euro step you have ever seen. And he gets to the free throw line. And it's like, oh no. But then on the other hand, it's Amen Thompson bringing the ball up, thinks it's a pick and roll. We get a steal from Steven Adams, does a little Gortat. Here's a scoop layup. The gather is weird. He just misses a point blank layup. It's like, hey, you can't really, like, no, we need you to make more of those, brother. You have to be better at those finishes. And just in general, the fact that teams feel comfortable putting a center on you speaks to how they feel about you as a scorer. And so, like, you want him to take those strides overall, or make teams pay as like a handoff hub as a screener. And, like, they sprinkled some of that in with Amen as well. But it just kind of highlighted just how important he is to Houston's offense, if we're taking about this in a playoff context. And defensively, I'm just kind of intrigued. Like, this isn't a new bit, considering some of the injuries and stuff that Houston's dealt with. But, like, Josh Okogie getting the Jamal Murray assignment means, hey, Amen Thompson, what if you just muck stuff up off the ball? What if you get the fly in sometimes? And as Houston was super committed to, anytime Jokic rolls or anytime he pops, we are flying a third defender over there to make sure that isn't there. Jamal Murray, you're going to have to make skip passes tonight. At least that was the bit early on in that game. Like, having Amen Thompson in that role is kind of like the third defender. It's a pretty good way to embrace his athleticism and the way that he reads things off the ball as well. So, like, it's just, Amen Thompson's good. He's important. There are obvious growth areas for him. And so, like, seeing Jokic on him just kind of sparked that overall thought as I was watching that game.
Makes sense. I thought both teams kind of got after it in different ways, especially the second half wore on. Like, I think there was a possession like 4:35-ish in the third quarter where the Nuggets saw Kevin Durant catch the ball and were like, no. Double team. Kevin Durant got the ball back and they said no. Double team again, and now it's Denver flying around, rotating, which I don't know if they get enough credit for, as they try to be more versatile defensively, and it's been a mixed bag at times. We've seen the highs, we've seen the lows, but they are working together to fly around and close things out. So Houston getting a taste of, okay, where are openings when the double teams happen? Not like it's a completely new deal, but okay, we now have potentially two people that could get doubled in scenarios, which is a far cry from a team that was, okay, I sure hope we make these specific shots in this context. And so that's a growth opportunity for the Houston Rockets to understand how do we punish teams when we consistently get double teams. And for Denver, it was an opportunity for them to grow defensively and fly around.
Can I bounce off of what you just said there with the Houston offense?
Sure.
And give you the warning that I'm probably going to be a little bit annoying.
Fine.
So, again, great game overall. This game goes to overtime. Do you know how many threes the Houston Rockets took in that basketball game?
Oh, man. Go ahead.
Like, I gave you they took 25 threes in 53 minutes. And, like, it's a very basic thing to say. And I'm not going to hang here too long. But, like, that is one of the areas where, as we were talking about the Houston Rockets, who earlier this season were leading the NBA in offensive rating, that is no longer the case. I do just still have that kind of in the back of the, like, hey, you're putting a lot of pressure on KD to be this kind of inside the arc scorer, and for Alperen Sengun to win that many drives. And again, it puts even more of a spotlight on Amen Thompson to make shots when he drives with the gaps that he's seeing and things like that. I do just wish on a basic level that they were more willing to get him up from deep, especially in light of the fact that they are just the best offensive rebounding team in the league by a mile. Like, you can afford to take more threes because you're probably going to rebound half of them anyway. And so if we're talking about a margin game like this where you lose by literally 3 points, hey, it would be cool if they took a little bit more. KD took 3 in that game. The same as Josh Okogie, which, to your point about that third quarter play at the 4:35 mark, that did end in the Josh Okogie dunk. I don't know how he finished that.
He doesn't either.
I was like, oh my goodness, what a finish that was. But yeah, like, it's just one of those things where, like, I want them to, they do not need to become the Boston Celtics and be like first in 3-point rate or anything like that. They've just been like 29th, 30th pretty much all year long. Like, if they can get the 22nd, I feel better about them offensively because of all the things that they can get to and the ways that they can win. They just need a little bit more margin for error, I feel.
Understood. Now, so who is your second best team in the Western Conference, Nekias, Duncan?
I'll tell you what, it's probably still it's the Denver Nuggets for me. Like, I think it is Denver, especially since, like, I'm making it like Aaron Gordon is going to come back, Christian Brown's going to come back. Like, for them to be able to stack a win like this without either of those guys is pretty impressive. And when you have, Shea's my MVP. I'm sticking with that right now. Like, I do still think Jokic overall is the best player in the league. Like, I haven't deviated from that. When you have the best player in the world, when you have Jamal Murray playing at an all-star level, like, that gives you a pretty high floor off rip. And when you can, as you mentioned, sprinkle in as many things as they do now defensively. And when you're baking in, they're going to have the healthy unit to be able to do all these different things defensively. Zone, cross-matching, alternate pick and roll schemes. We have seen a sample when they were healthy, when they were just firmly a top 5, top 6 defense. Yeah, man. Like, it's Denver for me until proven otherwise. Not that Houston can't get there. Not that, San Antonio, not that they can't get there if Victor Wembanyama stays healthy. And now, in addition to the top 10 offense they've been when he was out, now they get this world in there on the defensive end and everything. It could be the Spurs. If Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron are going to be insane offensively, at the very least, they could be in games with literally anyone. Like, the defense gives me too much pause to argue that they're second best in the league. But, like, I want to give them their respect. I do land with Denver, but, like, I don't think it is a battle up top.
Yeah. For me, it's the San Antonio Spurs after what I saw from Victor Wembanyama this weekend.
Ooh-wee.
And we'll talk about it after this break.
And we are back with this episode of the Dunker Spot. Let's close with some NBA Cup talk, Steve. Again, we had the semifinals over the weekend. We have the NBA Cup final happening later tonight, which a game that does not count towards the regular season standings, etc. But it is a lot of money and bragging rights on the line. We'll get into some Spurs Knicks thoughts soon. But first, salute to the New York Knicks. 12-point victory over the Orlando Magic. Jalen Brunson with 40 in that game. We're going to circle back. But the Thunder lost, Steve. Yeah. Or with more fair framing, the Spurs beat them.
Yeah, the last time we had an episode, I said, what if the answer to the Thunder is just Victor Wembanyama? And, hey, did you see what Victor Wembanyama did this weekend to the Oklahoma City Thunder? Because he sure let every single member of the Oklahoma City Thunder know exactly what he was doing and how he felt about them over the course of that game.
A pure and ethical performance from Victor Wembanyama. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, but altered many more shots and just flat out deterred many others. He played 20 minutes and 39 seconds in this game, Steve. A game in which the Spurs won by 2 points.
And he was there?
The Spurs won that 20-minute and 39-second stretch from Victor Wembanyama by 21 points.
Yeah.
Plus 21 in roughly 21 minutes for Victor Wembanyama off the bench.
Yeah, I think it was an insane performance. Is impactful because if you go back to the start of that game, right? Spurs, I think 0 for 12 from 3 to start. OKC is doing what they do defensively. The Spurs are trying to find gaps. Stephon Castle's seeing a bunch of people in the paint. It's just not a good time. And then Wemby comes in, and slowly but surely over the course of this game, you start to feel his impact because it's like, oh, when you play the Oklahoma City Thunder, you can kind of get sped up. And if you get sped up, you naturally try and slow down. You end up being slower. They've been more set. Mm-hmm. The Spurs, over the course of that game, were able to get Victor Wembanyama the ball against wings in different areas of the court. And you started to see the Thunder, it was a different type of help they had to show. Whether he was on the wing or the middle of the floor, they were showing early help. It wasn't an occasional double, sprinkling it in. But he was able to see the floor and make reads and make passes. Spurs were able to see the attention he got and make reads and make passes. And then he was just getting the baskets that he wanted. Now, the drives against the Thunder defense, he did not have a good time with those. He did not. That was the one area where it was like, okay, I'm going to put my head down. And the Thunder were like, no, you're not. We're taking this. That's what we got on you today. But everything else was fantastic. And I think the biggest thing for me was the defensive impact. One, split themselves. Stephon Castle, I thought they did a good job battling against Chet Holmgren. Spurs were able to switch. Wembanyama switching, being like, you don't want to drive against me, and then immediately retreating to be the low man defensively. So, switch back out to the wing. And now, okay, sure, you want to drive from the wing? Guess who's here? Wemby. And it's not like it's easy to pass around him. It's not like the Spurs don't know where the pass is going. So I thought that wrinkle was really fun. I just thought, over the course of that night, he just brought it. He just kept going. Like, what? Cool, nice swipe down now, screw. So he just fade away anyways.
Yeah, like I want to go back to the Wemby offense first because he checks in, start the second quarter. I was really intrigued. Like, one, thought Wemby was going to be back. Figured it'd just be like, 4 or 5 minute stints in each quarter. You want to keep the minutes low, etc. So when it was like Luke Cornett is starting, I was like, oh, so this is how they're going to keep the minutes down. Okay. Well, then surely he just checks in, 6-minute mark, 5-minute mark of the first. We get an early run. Entire first quarter goes. It's like, oh, wait. So is Wemby playing? Like, is this actually happening? Is this Mitch Johnson saying, oh, snap, we are not making any threes. The Thunder are already on their nonsense. Like, maybe we just wait. Second quarter comes in, offensive rebound Wemby. Offensive rebound Wemby. It's like, here we are. And then to your point, Steve, the drives. And even some of the post touches. Like, I enjoyed Jalen Williams, DPOY candidate last year, all defensive team selection last year. You guard Wemby, but you're not going to be alone. They're going to try to post him up. You try to get to his front side. We're going to load some help behind that. As soon as Wemby catches the ball, here's the other Jalen Williams, here's another defender here, and we are zoning up behind that. Wemby, do your best. You have to both read that and also try to dribble a ball against these hyenas. You're not going to have a good time. And so it went from, offensive rebound, early impact to turnover, he is on the floor throwing it to somebody. It's like, And in my head, it's like, this is why I didn't know if I wanted Wemby to come back for this one, because this just feels like a lot. He ended up with 5 turnovers in that game. But to the defense, you already nailed him navigating to make sure he's the low man. So I'm not going to hang there too long. But it's something that we've talked about with many a great rim protector. Like the Joel Embiid effect in Philly at his peak when he's winning MVP. Rudy Gobert during the depoy seasons, where it's just like, you are on the floor, we're going to drive, we see you there, we're going to peter back out, and we're going to do something else. And like, it really popped towards the end of that fourth quarter. Or you really saw it in the second half in general, to where Wemby's in, and man, these are a lot of pull-up middies for Jalen Williams and Shea and otherwise. Wemby goes to the bench, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander all the way to the rim with a scoop and a finish. I'm just like, I wonder if there's a correlation to this. And I say that, like, Shea wasn't scared. Like, he did try to attack the rim with Wemby on the court too. But like, it was just funny to see like sequences like that, to where here are the 2 or 3 possessions right before Wemby checked out, and here are 3 possessions directly after he checked out. And just looking at the shot profile difference between the two, it just speaks to what kind of terror Wemby is defensively. And going back to the offense, kind of bounce off what you said about where he was getting his touches, I was so annoyed on San Antonio's behalf watching these like wing touches for Wemby, or these like elbow touches for, I'm just like, dog, get him the ball in the middle of the floor, please. If you're going to do this.
I thought you were about to go full unk and say, give him the ball in the paint. I thought we were about to have the fullest of circle moments, but continue.
No,
Sorry.
we're not going to do that. But I was like, get him the ball in the middle of the floor. Steve, we had a whole conversation on this very podcast about the Nets sending doubles and the Suns sending doubles and the Lakers showing all their help in the zone and all this different stuff. And like one of the counters we were starting to see more with San Antonio's offense, this before Wemby went down, was, hey, his touches are becoming more centralized. They're just giving him the ball at the nail, and he's having a lot more success. It isn't perfect, but like, he's figuring that out. We talked about the spacing around that. Like, it's not a bunch of off-ball movement, but they make the reads kind of easier. It was similar to the Embiid conversation we had, all this stuff. And I'm watching this game. And again, I'm watching those early touches in that second quarter where OKC is now just swarming him all over the place. I was like, man, it sure would be nice if they give him the ball in the middle of the floor. And as they got to that more consistently, you get these Wemby Jalen Williams battles, the Wemby Alex Caruso battles. And it's just like, yeah, man, he is 7'4", 7'5" at the end of the day. Like, let's make this a little easier for ourselves. Like, it felt like it took a minute for them to get there, but once they got there, offense got easier for them.
Well, I think there was a good sign in the third quarter. What I enjoyed was before they got him purely in the middle of the court, it was towards the wing, towards the side. But what I liked is Wemby was like, okay, I'm getting the ball here. I know that there's going to be help one pass away, and I know Chet's going to be roaming around the baseline to get to that block. And then he just fires a skip pass. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is where, if you contrast the early season play for Wemby, where it was like, okay, this doesn't feel as good against the doubles versus I'm being decisive with this. And then you kind of have some of the, oh, Wemby's closer to the block, he's close to the basket. Now OKC is like, hey, no, we can't do that. And now the Spurs guards are making those skip passes and playing off that. That's where I feel like the interplay becomes even stronger, because now they can control the tempo. They can execute in the half court. Now we get some stops, we get out and run. They get a balance. You know, it's like an anchoring type deal. So I thought that part was pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So like, it was just a fun battle. And even still, the Thunder nearly eked that game out, because you have to put them away. Like, to borrow from the great Steve Jones Jr., like you have to beat them. It's not enough to play well. Because even when you do, like, you know, one, you give the salute to the San Antonio Spurs, because OKC went up 16 in that first half. And it's like, oh, well, here we go. And then we get quick shots from OKC. We get turnovers from OKC. The turnover bit really got me in this one. It's like, these are things that we talked about on the Friday episodes. Like, hey, the one thing that kind of popped in that Suns game, they ended up winning anyway and beating the brakes off of them, was like, hey, y'all got kind of loose with this.
Yeah, you know what? Let's give Nekias Duncan a salute. I will apologize, because you did bring that portion up, and I was like, hey, man, what are you talking about? And so I'll issue a public apology there, because, yeah, pop back up.
Oh, it was not great. And that's where, like, Wemby poses such a unique experience to the Thunder's offense. But like, something that you've talked about before is that hey, the template, as much as you can get to it against a team this good, is can you get OKC into quick shot zone, or that they're playing a little faster than they want to? And I think the fact that Wemby was able to effectively wall off the rim in his minutes, it became a little more helter-skelter for OKC in the half court offensively. Like, they didn't have easy things to poke at, and that led to just, by default, more jumpers. But the timing of some of those, like, you didn't get the Shea step-back three that just quells a run like we had been seeing earlier in this season, for example. Jalen Williams did not shoot well in this basketball game. Didn't mind most of his looks, but a lot of his looks were 13 feet and out. And when you don't have those, like, you're not getting to the free throw line on those types of shots, you don't have anything that settles you.
Well, if you're OKC, you don't want people to watch the tape of the third quarter and have Vassell and Castle regarding Chet Holmgren. Because it felt like the Spurs got emboldened by some of those stops and said, actually, we're fine. Now, not everyone has that behind them, you know? Yeah, so you can't be as audacious, but I would just keep that out there, sprinkle it out there. Do you have any thoughts on the final that doesn't count that will happen after we speak words?
I do. I want to say one thing to put a bow on this, because you mentioned Wemby's. He let OKC know how he felt during that game.
Sure did.
Devin Vassell did too. That's probably the most amped I've seen Devin Vassell in a while. That brother was yapping that entire game. Complimentary. Big game for him. But as for Spurs Knicks, ooh boy, this is a fascinating matchup. Because, like, I talk about walling off the rim and what Wemby does defensively, et cetera, and Jalen Brunson's just like, yeah, that's fine. Just give me a switch that I like. I'll boogie from 17. Like, it don't really matter. Like, that's okay. Like, I talk about Jalen Williams, like, you're not generally drawing fouls from like 15 feet and stuff like that. Jalen Brunson will, with all the up fakes and pivots and step throughs and all that good stuff. So, like, that's going to be a fascinating battle. The Jalen Brunson scoring package, I am curious to see, like, how high some of these Knicks screens are going to be set in this particular game. Like, how much switching do we see from San Antonio in relation to that? But, like, yeah, the Brunson piece is fascinating to me. Would imagine Stephon Castle's going to get the Brunson assignment. How well does he do? I think I'll swing the rock to you. What are you excited about? I'm excited about that matchup. But.
Understood. I'm just excited to see what it looks like. Wemby against New York has always been a good time. Jalen Brunson's been on a tear in the NBA Cup. There are stakes. So I just want to see what it looks like. That's it. It already happened. So, woo, did you see Wemby? Wow, Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart, huh? Could you believe OG Anunoby? What a coaching job by insert coach name.
What? Oh, dear heavens. I was not expecting the prepackaged bit. That is incredible. Man. Keep an eye on Mitchell Robinson in this one. I wonder how much we see OG on Wemby. How many doubles?
So De'Aaron Fox, huh?
Yeah, he's... You know what? Salute to the bank accounts of the winners, whoever that may be. But fun weekend of hoops, fun stretch of games. We hope you enjoyed the NBA Cup final, and we hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Duncan Spot Podcast. Thank you for listening and or watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We are on Apple, Spotify, RIP Google, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. Keep your eyes peeled for the Yahoo NBA YouTube channel. It's coming soon, so tap in, subscribe. Going to see us and a lot of other familiar faces on that channel, so get ready to tap in. But you can follow me on socials at Nekias NBA. You can follow Steve at SteveJones20. And with that, we will catch y'all later in the week.